Hey, cellos. All right, tonight's the night. Today's the day. We are going to work on applying the half steps and whole steps and the major scale pattern to your 2-octave scale. So remember that the major scale pattern is that thing that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's 1, 2, 3 half step 4, 5, 6, 7 half step 8. It is literally as simple as starting at the very beginning of your scale and just writing that pattern down. So let's start here. 1, whoops, why is this not working? Okay, let me press the right button on my pen. 1, whoa! Whoopsies, let's pick a more appropriate width for the pen. That's better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then I like to use red for my half step indicators. So let's go to our red, and here's where you're going to put your half steps in for the 3 and the 4. 1, 2, 3 half step 4, 5, 6, 7 half step 8. Okay, now very good. And then I'm going to actually go back to my green. And when you have 8, so you had C was the beginning of your octave. I'm going to make that my darker green so I can see it a little bit better. Okay, so C is the beginning of our octave, and then you go from C to C. Okay, so this 8 right here is actually going to become the first scale degree of your second octave. Okay, so then we'll be going from this C right here to this C right up here. Okay, so it starts out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's mark our half steps. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 half step 4, 5, 6, 7 half step 8. Awesome. Okay, now you're going to take those half steps and you simply just going to go and look at the notes that they're indicating. So this one is E and F. And remember when we did that thing with the piano keyboard up at the top and those naturally occurring half steps? Yeah, that's the same thing that you have on your cello. Okay, so between E and F, there's a naturally occurring half step. Same thing with B and C. Okay, so let's go on to, and that's on your, those are in your lower strings. Now on your D string, you have an E and an F, E, F, and then you have B and C. Okay, and then this one, I didn't remember to do. Remember how we had the no sharps or flats? And when you put those reminder naturals, yeah, that's this coming back around. Okay, so we have F natural and C natural here. That's how we know what type of fingering that we need to play for these notes, depending on what octave they're in. Okay, so now right here, these are our scale degrees. Okay, so the green is the scale degrees. And the next thing, your objective is to be able to write the finger pattern for your scale. Okay, so that you're going to write down here. Okay, your finger pattern. All right. So we're going to start out with our open. I'll give you that one. I'll give you a couple of hint notes, hints of your finger pattern that you're going to be in here. And remember another day that we were talking about like the finger pattern, like the violins go open 1, 2, 3, open 1, 2, 3. And cellos, you guys go open 1, 3, 4, open 1, 3, 4. And sometimes it's open 1, 2, 4. Okay, this is your chance to try and figure out when do you use third finger? When do you use fourth finger? Okay, and remember when we were talking just yesterday actually about what does your half step look like? Okay, your half steps, this is like your fingers, okay, is like that would be first finger and that's second finger. They're close to each other. That's a half step, okay? Okay, for your fingers. And that could also be between 2 and 3 and 3 and 4. Every one of your fingers is a half a step apart. Remember, for you cellos, that if you have 3 fingers, like say this is 1, 2, and 3, that is a whole step. okay, because it's made up of 2 half steps. There's your 2 half steps, so it's a whole step. So then I'm hoping that when you think about that with your finger pattern, you'll be able to fill in which fingers you're going to use. So for C, it's open. D would be 1. E, is it 2 or is it 3? And F is 4, okay? Because F is always going to be a 4. So, and then open G, A would open, okay, G, 1, is that 2 or 3? And then C is going to be 4, right? So when you get to your C, that's going to be 4 on the G string. That's your hint. And then when you start your next scale, you start on this 4th finger, C, and this is your C major scale starting on your G string, okay? C, then what's your fingering for D? Obviously, that's an open string, okay? And then E, and then F. Is that F a 2 or is it a 3? Okay, G, A, obviously that's open. B is going to be 1. Now this C natural, is it 2 fingers or is it 3 fingers? That's what you got to figure out. Okay, so now at this point, I want you to stop and put it on your own paper, on your own document, and see if you can fill in those blanks, what your finger pattern is. And then we'll have a check. Okay.